Alright, Chase. So for today's lesson, we are going to be investigating and using the formula for area and perimeter of a rectangle. Alright, so we're going to get started with that. First, we're just going to start off with kind of a little bit of a fluency practice. So what that is just kind of getting us ready to use the stuff that we're going to need to be doing our lesson today. So we have our whiteboards here, and I'm going to do this with you. We are going to first, let's talk about what's something that we know about rectangles. What are some characteristics of rectangles?
Well, they have four sides.
Right.
They have four corners.
What's unique about those sides?
Is that they're all parallel?
Yep.
But as well as that, there's only two sides. There's two sides that are longer than the other sides.
Yep. And those two sides that are longer than each other, what's special about those? So now you're writing one out there. So what's special about this side and this side as well as that side and that side? What are they? What do they have in common?
They're parallel with each other.
Yep.
And they are both on each side is the opposite sides from them are the same length as them.
There we go. Yep, absolutely. Opposite sides are the same length.
But they can also be different shapes and sizes. Some of them can be wide, some of them can be thin.
Yep, they can be any shape or size as long as two sides are the same,
That's not it's not a square, but a rectangle.
Yeah, because what's different about a square than a rectangle? All four sides are what?
The same.
And a rectangle, only two adjacent sides are the same, correct?
Yeah.
Alright, so what we're going to start off for practice is we are going to multiply a number by itself, okay? So I'm going to write some numbers down here, so
maybe I can put them inside the buildings.
Let's try that. How about that? So I'm going to have you write there 4 times 4. What is 4 times 4? Write it out. 16. Perfect. Now let's just go through the line. 5 times 5?
25.
And last one, we're going to try 6 times 6. You're doing great.
36.
36. Perfect. Alright. Now we're gonna do a little something called find the unknown factor. So I'm gonna write out a problem for you on your board. So we're gonna do 4 times an unknown number equals 12. And what's the unknown number?
3.
3. Perfect. Alright, let's try one more here. 6 times an unknown number equals 30.
It's 5.
Yep, the number is 5. Now, what could we do with this exercise? How would this help us with finding with area and perimeter? So if you think of a rectangle right here, if we're given one side that's 6, but we know that the area of it equals 30, how could that help us find that missing side?
Well, you can if you had one of those multiplication charts, you could look at it, and if you look for the 30, you'll look for find the 6 on one side, and the unknown number on the other side.
Right, that'll give us what the unknown side is. So in this case right here, if 6 was the long side, but 6 times the missing number equals 30, how long would that side be? Write that in.
5.
5, right. Yep, so that's what we're going to do with that as far as finding the unknown factor. Alright, we should be done with our whiteboards for just a rectangle. So we're gonna kind of compare the difference between area and perimeter. So can you, in your own words, kind of tell me, based off that shape, what's the difference between area and perimeter?
perimeter is the outside. Is the outline of the shape.
Okay,
The
so
area is the whole part of is the shape itself. Like
absolutely. So using that grid paper, if we wanted to find perimeter, how would we do that? Doing that, or how would we find perimeter? By counting
the numbers and adding them up.
Yep. So now we have 4. Is that, do we have 6 there, or do we have 7?
And this would equal 20. And is it put in as squared?
No, not now. But let's look back at this one real quick, Chase. Let's count the squares on this side.
Oh yeah, 7.
Yep, that's okay. There you go. So now let's do it. So if perimeter is the length of all surrounding sides, what's the perimeter of that rectangle? 22, absolutely. Now, if that's the perimeter, how do we find this? How do we find the area?
By multiplying this by this.
Yep, but if we're using the grid paper, say we don't know how to multiply those two numbers, how can we do that using the grid paper?
Just count the squares inside.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's do that. Yep, and then what? So that's going to be our area, 28 square units.
Now the most basic is this. 1, 2.
1, 2, yeah. In this case, it would. Could we do one like this?
1.
No, because that would be a square unit.
Unless there was a way to separate it in half, and you had 0.5 on one side and 1 on the other side. But usually, if you use point numbers that are lower than that are below behind the decimal, they usually make the numbers smaller.
Right. Yeah. And so now instead of for perimeter here, this is what we're going to do. So an easier way to solve perimeter, remember when we counted each one? So 4 plus 7 is 11, plus 4 is 15, plus 7 is 22.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to use this formula that I'm going to write out for you. 2 times the length plus the width. So using that formula, can you show me how are we gonna find perimeter of that? I know you already found it once, but let's try to use that formula. So if we know what the length and width are, 7 and 4, can we put those in the parentheses? Alright, and now what's 2 times that?
Or should I say 2 times 11?
Yep, because we got to do what's in parentheses. Use our order of operations. We get 22. Perfect. Good job, Chase. Alright. So, now we're going to check out, do you know what the area for a rectangle is? Do you know what the formula is for that? Can we write that out? What does area equal?
It equals the total space inside.
Okay, but what two?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what's that? 250. Alright. This last one here, okay, Chase, that we're going to do is we're going to find that the missing length and width side, given that this is 24 square centimeters inside, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So if we know that that's 24 square centimeters, and that's the area, okay? What does each side have to be?
They have to be multiples.
Let's think, what times what equals 24?
Well, for this one, it's 2 and 12.
2 and 12?
Yeah.
Okay, should we write that in there and see if that's right? Which side has to be 2?
The small one and 12.
Okay.
If you multiply 2 times by 12, you get 24.
Right.
It's so obvious. It's like 1 plus 1.
Okay, but hey, what if, so did you know that because that the perimeter was 28?
Oh,
What, yep, see, because they give us the perimeter first here. So then we need to figure out what these sides are, because
I know, because
we could have done 6 times 4 and that would equal 24, but that wouldn't have been a perimeter of 28, would it?
No.
Because we would have had 6, 12, and 8, that would only be 20.
Oh, you gave me the number! 4 and 6. 4, 6.
Good. Glad you caught on to that. Alright, so because we know that the perimeter is 20, we can then conclude that the length and the width have to be 6 and 4. Because that equals the area, what they give us is 24.
Both have the same area, but both are separated by 8. But the perimeter is separated by 8.
Yeah, and that goes back to what you were saying a little bit ago, right? About how rectangles can be different shapes, but also have the same area.
Yeah.
Right? Remember when you said that?
Yeah. Except though it's just usually though they have their lengths and widths have to switch for that.
That's right. Alright, Chase. That did an awesome job, alright? Very good work. So next time, next lesson, we're going to be working on using the formula for area and perimeter, but we're going to do them with word problems, okay? So we're going to see problems like when you were talking about before the lesson started about, if you had a garden and you were going to build a fence, what kind of dimensions do you need for that? All right?
Yeah.
Sounds good. Good work, Chase. Okay, Chase, so hold on before we start that. We're kind of going to go over what we did yesterday in here. And do you want to fill me in on kind of what we learned yesterday and what we went over?
Well, I think we learned about perimeter and area.
And what's special about perimeter and area? What's the difference between the two?
Perimeter is the outside of the shape.
Yeah, so it's the...
And area is the whole, is the amount of space the shape takes up.
Absolutely. So would I be right when I say that if we want to find perimeter, we add up all the lengths of the sides of a rectangle?
Yes.
Okay, and how would we find area?
We multiply the length by the width.
Absolutely, perfect. Okay, we're just
gonna... It can also be, or vice versa.
Width times length.
You could make it width times length.
Okay, using the cumulative property of multiplication, so when you flip the two factors, they still equal the same, right? Mm-hmm. Okay.
It only works if you have 3.
Right.
Because then you're literally putting in different things.
Yeah, or only if you're using with multiplication.
Yeah.
Correct. Okay. So to start off, Chase, we're going to go with just a little bit of fluency practice just to get our minds rolling here. And we're going to start off, so we're going to multiply a number by itself. So we have 2 times 2. She wrote down 4. 3 times 3, 9. 4 and 4 is 16. 5 and 5, 25. 6 and 6, 36. And 7 and 7 is 49. Perfect. So we are ready with that. I'm just going to give this a quick wipe down. Alright, so now we're just going to do a problem based off of what we learned from yesterday, okay? Mm-hmm. Sounds good? Alright, so I'm going to draw a rectangle for you. And we're going to say that the length here is 8 centimeters, and we're going to have a width of 4 centimeters. So I want you to find the perimeter for me, what do we need to do?
We multiply for
Each block is 1 meter, right?
yeah.
So I want to build that has a building in Minecraft that has a perimeter of 24 meters. Let's draw some numbers on here. Let's get the perimeter. So we know what I want. That I want a building that has a perimeter of 24 meters. Let's draw. What kind of dimensions are you going to give that? 8. So we got 8 over here, but if we have 8 over here, that side's got to be also what?
8.
8? No, you're fine. You want to do a different number?
Yeah.
Okay. As long as the perimeter equals 24. So we're going to have 4 there.
It's actually the 4 goes right here.
Yep.
That's about the size of a regular house in Minecraft.
Okay.
Which means that the area.
So hold on, Chase, before we get going with that, is I wanted a perimeter of 24 meters, and we have the length here is 6 meters, and the width is 4 meters. Is that going to give me 24? What's the perimeter of this building right now with what you gave it?
24.
Let's think about that, though. So we have...
Well, we could just make it be 6 is on each side.
But if each side was the same length, what shape would it be?
A square.
A square. So at first you had 8 written down there. Can we try to go back to that?
5, 7.
Will that get us to 24?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So if we had a length of 7 meters and a width of 5 meters, we'll get our perimeter as well.
But and then that would leave you with an area of 5 with the inside area, which would make the area for the inside of the building, because each block is 1 meter thick too.
Mm-hmm.
The area in the inside of the building would be 15 square meters.
Okay, and how did you figure that out?
Because if you take, now, there's 2 meters for the walls, so take out, so for each number, just take them out.
Yeah.
And then so that leaves you with 3.
Because we got a meter, we have a meter over here and a meter over here.
And then 5 meters right there. Then you multiply them, it gives you 15 meters squared.
Yep, so right here, what we did was you built this building based off of the perimeter that I want, correct?
Yeah.
So we have 24, and then like we said, so our outside blocks in our Minecraft building, this is going to be our foundation, which is a perimeter of 24. And like you said with area, you did everything correct, okay, Chase?
It's, except though, the door area is also added into there, so we would make it 16. So, if you were to get...
So, can you tell me what you got out of today's lesson as far as using area and perimeter?
Well,
What did we learn how to do with those?
we learned that the area and perimeter can be switched around to be the same if you're multiplying.
Yep, and then yesterday in our lesson we kind of worked with just basically labeling rectangles with lengths to width.
And we also
today, hold on,
labeled objects.
Yep, today we labeled objects based off of word problems that we were given, right?
Yeah. Like take this thing. this
Yeah.
whiteboard.
So yeah, exactly. Let's say this whiteboard, and I'm gonna tell you that. Let's say that this is a garden, and I'm gonna say, Chase, this is my garden, and it is 10 meters by 3 meters. What's the area? So that's an example of what we did today. That's a word problem. So what would be the word?
The area would be 30 meters squared.
30 meters squared.
Which would only leave a row of flowers that just one single row of flowers, unless you have big flowers like rose bushes.
Okay.
Yep. Or sunflowers. Those are two of the four tall giant flowers in Minecraft.
And tomorrow's lesson, we're going to focus on using area and perimeter to figure out the area and perimeter of some real world objects. So, for example, we could figure out the area and perimeter of that door, or maybe the basketball court outside, or the playground, or a patch of grass out on the playground. So tomorrow or Thursday,
or your little camera.
Or my little camera, we could try that. That'd be a little bit smaller. Or my laptop, but I'm going to leave it up to you for Thursday. And I'll tell Mr. Walt this as well, but you can pick 3 objects that are appropriate for school that we will go around. I'll bring a tape measure, and we are going to find the area and perimeter of those 3 objects. And you're going to be doing that solo, and you're going to be showing me. You comfortable with that?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Now here's your exit ticket. I'm going to have you finish this up on your own. Okay?
Just that side?
Yep, just this side is all I need from you. And then we are going to be done for the day, okay? Good work, Chase. Okay, Chase, we're coming down to our final lesson of this learning segment. And just as a little bit of a recap, do you want to kind of tell me what...
9 times 9?
Yep. You know that one, don't you?
Yes.
We'll be able to do that. You want to tell me as just kind of a recap of what did we learn our first lesson? What has all this been about?
This has all been about the area and perimeter of objects.
Yep. And what about our previous lesson? So our latest lesson, what did we find out?
We found out that there are techniques for using for these.
Yep. Can I see that real quick? I'll give it back to you right when we start with our activity. All right. So here, hold on to that. We're not going to start our practice just yet. So our second lesson, what did we do? What kind of problems were we working with?
We are working with problems with area and perimeter.
Okay. Yeah. And then our second lesson, we kind of focused on some word problems, didn't we?
Yeah.
So not just like this, where we have a shape and it gives us the dimensions and we got to solve. It actually told us numbers that we had to plug in and find, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well our final lesson for this learning segment is we are going to focus on applying what we've learned into real world scenarios and finding area and perimeter of objects, and we're going to use some stuff in this room. 3 of them you're going to pick, and we're going to do one together as just a practice for you. But first, like we started every lesson, we're going to start out with a little bit of fluency practice, okay? So I have some multiplying factors here, numbers multiplied by themselves. So I want you to do those real quick, followed by these missing factor problems. Sorry, that should have been multiplied. You're good. All right, everything looks there. We just did that just to kind of get the wheels turning and get us ready for what we're going to be doing here. Okay, so again, what's the purpose of today's lesson, Chase?
Measuring the length.
Kind of guide you through. I'm gonna help you out with finding the area and perimeter of this room. So let's go ahead and do that. All right. All right, Chase. Let's start with the width of the room. And the width we said is going to be the door side.
Well, we did that earlier.
Yep. We're going to try it again, okay? Because remember.
Yeah.
All right, ready? I'll take one end.
You take the end that's over here.
Yep. So I'm going to grab this.
There's a spider web over there too.
Yep. I'll stay away from that. And we're just going to use an approximation here.
So it's supposedly close enough to 8 feet.
Okay, so 8 feet is going to be what we're going to label this length. So on our whiteboard, let's label the width.
They fixed out like 16 feet. Oh, there's a spider in there.
Yeah, he's a dead one. All right.
Yeah.
So we said that our width was what?
8.
8. Perfect.
Now we
8
have to
feet.
do the length.
Yep. So again, I'll take an end.
Maybe we could just do it from up here.
Up here? Yeah. Because it'll be the same up here as it is down there, right?
About 11 feet.
About 11 feet. All right.
If that slaps me, I would throw down chairs.
Yeah. It's kind of tricky. Here, let me see it. Can I see it? All right.
You can also pretend it's a trombone.
Yep. You kind of got, if you go like, it's all about the pressure you put on, okay? So if you just kind of go just a little bit, it works. So what do we have for our length?
11 feet.
All right. So now. All right, so we're gonna find the perimeter and area of this room. Now, I know you can do some of this in your head, but I want you to use the formulas that we learned. So, let's do perimeter first.
So, everyone knows that 11 times 8 is 88.
Yep, but that would give us our what?
Our area.
Area. Okay, so we figured that out. 88 what? Feet. Squared. Absolutely. All right, now let's do perimeter.
11 plus 8 times 2 equals perimeter.
Yep. So let's solve.
Which would make this equal this.
Yep. What does that equal? Yep. Right
19
there.
times 2 makes it be 38 feet.
All right.
Big difference by
Yeah, it
50
is.
feet.
Yep. And why might that make a difference? What would we need to know the area of this room for?
You would need the walls,
Mm-hmm.
the floor, and the ceiling.
Yeah, because what are we standing on right now? What's underneath my feet?
The ground.
But what is this?
Carpet.
Carpet. Yeah. And what should you probably know before you go on and put down carpet in a room?
How much there is.
Yeah, and area tells us that, correct?
Yes.
Yep. All right, awesome. Now we're going to get into some of the objects that you're going to choose. Okay? All right, Chase. That is it for this lesson. Do you want to, can I see that real quick? Yep. We're going to hold on to that, and we're just kind of do a little bit of a review here. In your words, what do you think the importance of this lesson is?
To learn the area and perimeter of objects,
Mm-hmm.
either digital or are real.
Yep, absolutely. And what do you mean by digital?
Like something off a computer.
Yep. Because
Digital and physical.
like we did with Minecraft yesterday.
That was digital.
Yep, that was our digital aspect. And then today, knowing real world objects, correct?
Or physical world objects is the people in Minecraft and what my book's called. It's the world or this place.
Yep.
They call it the physical world.
The physical world, correct.
And they all think and the stuff that they and people that come here and they look like this, they're probably gonna think, do they have squid tentacles for arms and their arms?
All right, Chase, you did a great job with these lessons. Very nice work. You showed me a great understanding of using the formula for area and perimeter, as well as applying it to real world objects and word problems that we use, correct?